Sorry, Liam here. I had to deal with something, so that's why I cut it short. But where was I? Oh, yeah. So something had passed, and it's being now adopted by the Simpson family. And when things could have been better, things get even worse. So, yeah. So anyway, he starts school. He starts to start. His tries to start a new life. And once again, he ends up encountering his old friend Chucky. So, so a first incident happens at his school where his teacher um, ha- uh, has, has ended stayed after school because of what he wrote on his supposedly on his paper, which was actually uh, Chucky's doing, but he did not live it. So she looks up Chucky in the closet and goes and um, looks up the door of the room so Andy wouldn't be able to escape. I mean, go out. But needless to say that when Chucky tries to convince him to let him out and open the door, um, he just was able, like say he as soon as Chucky got crazy, um, Andy was able to just open up the window and leave the class. Couple minutes after, Andy's teacher returns, and he, she thinks Andy's locked up, so she opens the door. And guess what happened? Chucky just jumps out at her with the air pump, if I'm not mistaken. But and I call this a classic, you guys. I don't know. I don't know. To me, this is a classic, and I'm talking about murder with the wooden ruler. I mean, it's just it's a classic. I mean, he has done a lot of things. He has used the old system, which was um from guns to knives to but a roller that's just insane. Anyway, he goes back. Andy is back at home and he's now in hot water because he 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 um was in trouble with his teacher. So Phil uh, asked him what happened. He tried to tell them that it was all Chucky's dream, but he didn't believe him because the night before, he put Chucky on the. So he asked he um asked Sandy to open the door of the cellar, and Andy doesn't want to do it because he knows that one Chucky is there, but he's not entirely sure. So, so Phil just told them to. He opens the door and he says Chucky, and then they're like, oh, wait a second. Chucky was in the school, so how is it that he's okay? Here's the logic. If you guys remember the night before when fuel turned on the light, you were able to see the a window or the shadow of a window. That's where Chucky got out of. And I remember seeing a clip. Um, I remember seeing a clip of Chucky actually getting out of that window, or actually they showing the window on the side of the house, which is the window where Chucky got out of. But anyway, but anyway, so what happened was that uh, later that night things got out of hand. Um, Andy was determined to get rid of Chucky once and for all, and that didn't go well because um, Phil tried to reason with Andy, but Andy knew that if he didn't kill Chucky when he was supposed to, then it would have been worse. And actually, it was worse because Phil finally finds out that Chucky was alive. And and the thing is, before he even said something, uh, Chucky got rid of him. So so his wife wanted to send Chucky away, and she she was I mean she blamed herself for not listening when they went to adopt them, or when they adopt them she didn't listen. So Kyle had told her that it's not entirely her fault. So there's a part where Kyle and um and they hold that conversation, and before they take Andy away back to the uh um, um that the one place where I still can go with the word. So anyway, before he's taken away, he tells Kyle that Chuck is in the cellar and they're to the before before he gets her. So basically, let her know, hey, his sister, don't let your guard down because he's still there. So she fights some, throws him in the trash. Later on, somehow Chucky manages to somehow, and this has happened in a couple other movies where he's thrown to the garbage can, and I need to the garbage can. And he had got away somehow. So he already found himself in Joan's room, and well, there she goes. Hearing a strange noise, Kyle goes up and finds out that Chucky already have already killed Joanne. And she tries to look for Chucky, and of course, uh, they hold a minor, not a big fight, but they hold a minor fight where Kyle had no choice but take him where Andy is. So they're on their way. She's a bit fast than what she should. Gets stopped by a police officer and noticed what she had on the side of it, and that was um and he knew what kind of toy it was. He also noticed that he was bleeding, so Kyle had to be smart and just tell him, hey, you see those so just one bleed. So and she left, so it was like you know a way to just trying to avoid staying for a long time, but the contest calls her goal to remember to buckle up for safety and so on. Once she reached the place where Anne was at, um, the fire alarm rings, and it kind of lets the person in charge that was that wasn't her, but she gets blamed anyway. So Andy knew that it was Chucky, so did Kyle. And so at the office, the worker that worker takes Chucky away from Kyle, and he just gets her. He goes, "Amazing, isn't it?" Because she didn't believe he was alive. So not until that part where he actually comes to life on her, and and there's the persecution up to the place of toy factory. It couldn't be. I can't even worse than that. Kyle was lucky to get in before the factory was shut down for the night. There's all this. Chucky tries to once again his ritual, but he wasn't successful. So he puts the blame on Andy because he spent so much time on the doll, and now he was trapped in it, and so on. So Kyle finds and they run throughout the place trying to escape. They go to this one machine where they do the assembled good guy dolls. It's a good idea actually, because Chucky does pop in and tries to get Indy. So had told him to get down, and he pushes the buttons because he didn't, and one told that really out of them and went back, and then they reversed the whole thing. He had so many pieces all over. That would be a good way of getting rid of Chelsea for sure. But that plan did backfire because they did, but it seems Chucky defense uh, uh, he had to rip his hand because it got caught on the on the gate that they closed so he wouldn't chase and and then he put his hand in and was stuck. He had no choice but to pull it up and handcuff his hand. So he actually puts on or takes apart the knife and just puts it onto his hand, wraps it with tape. So and you think that one part of being sent to that one machine where the dolls are assembled, what he actually did, and you don't know nothing. Nobody knows what happened there because you can hear him scream, but actually, the one thing you don't know, actually, Chucky had to slice himself halfway in order to get out of the machine. So they thought I was it for Chucky when they about where he was. That's not true. It's on the floor that there was a trail of blood and that was his blood. So when it comes to the part where all these things happen, Kyle gets really messed up because of a body hitting her, which sends her that one this is, machine that one machine assembles the bones. Um, well, Andy had to deal with Chucky by um, trying not to get close to him, and Chucky right now is just pushing himself with the pushing himself with his hands, so on a rolling thing. So they have this conversation. Chucky uh, notices that when he tried to actually stab Andy, he failed, and his hand gets stuck. He notices that on top of him there was a bath of hot boiling candle wax. So Andy releases it, and well, Chucky gets a hot bath and melts. And wow. But that wasn't it, because afterwards, once they try to escape, Chuck is somehow still alive, tries to get rid of Kyle, but he was sticky enough, so what Kyle did was the one piece of a wasn't like a straw like thing that he cut from trying to get Andy. She puts that in Chucky's mouth. Next thing you know, his head blows up, and now there was an alternative ending to that, and actually that was the true ending. But from the beginning of Child's Play 3, they decided that instead of that being that's just being an alternative, where at the end Carol and Andy they leave the factory, and Andy tells Kyle, well, where are we going? And Kyle's reply is, we're going home. And he goes, where's home? And he just goes like, "Eh, Andy, I have no idea. As you see the music, the ending music starts playing all this and that, and there's the part where they goes back inside the factory. Um, there's the wax machine bubbling and sends through tubes wax into this one box like thing, and you see Chucky's face uh, going on to a grin. That was actually the true ending. That was the true ending, but it was decided to be switched around with the one we know where nothing happened. Yeah, the screen just it's the whole movie fades onto the credits. So anyway, anyway, part three, we find out that it's been more years have passed by. Andy is about 18 years old, and he goes to I can think on the military school. He goes to military school. He he was feeling at the point where um he forgot all about it actually. But before all that even happened, Sullivan, the owner of the factory, gets his because of it. The whole movie starts when he's at the meeting with some investors, and um, he had to decide if he's moving forward or what was going to be the fate of his company at that point. One of the guys, because they went over the whole story of how 7 years ago from that point, Andy and his story nearly crippled the company, and he faced a lot of lawsuits and everything during the time. Um, one of the investors said, "Hey, I, I gotta go clear with my position. I am against of putting back the good guy." Because what if for some reason that causes another kid to go or influences other kids to live that same nightmare again? That would that would probably that goes against company policy, and that would just be a way of shutting you down anyway. So Sullivan tells him, "Hey, your position's crystal clear, and I'll never forget that." And then he gets Chucky, and this is Chucky of the 90s. It became the Chucky of the 90s, the new Chucky. So it was renewed, and like I said, he tries to look for a way to go again and find Andy Barkley all over again. So, and this nightmare follows him all through military school, where he meets, where he meets um, a young woman with they go by last names because um, if you say your first name, it would be like something bad. So he meets this Elba, and he also meets and I forgot the little kid that like to Tyler. Tyler. And how new thing starts. Andy was supposed to get the package for Chuck was, but and Tyler, um, well, because of some people that that caused him to drop the package so many times, the paper gets scratched up, and Tyler noticed that it was the good guy though. But he just decided to go into the armory and open the package which belonged to Andy, and he actually met Chucky. Now he had Chucky had the idea since he had a new body and nobody knew his secret but Andy. He needed fresh blood. So he figured, well, if it couldn't be Barkley, then it would be Tyler. So throughout this time, Tyler doesn't believe Andy because he thinks Andy's jealous um that now Chuck is his friend, but all the incidents that happened throughout was because of Chucky. The first one was with Sergeant Botnick, but God, I something like that. I can remember names easily. He used to do the haircuts, and he happened to find Chucky, and his biggest mistake was trying to get rid of his hair. So he's the first victim. Oh wait, no, he's the second victim. I'm going. Let me go back. The first victim was one of the generals. Um, there was the one night where Andy had to recover the Chucky before things got out of hand because that he was taken away from by by Shelton, and Shelton was known to be Kent's god in a sense. So he tried to get it, causing Shelton to actually be really teared off and having everybody suffer because of Andy's uh, doing. He thought he stole the doll, but Chucky just got away. So they're outside. Everybody's mad because they were to stay till at least 1 o'clock in the morning, which is basically, if you talk about military time, that would be about uh these 1 hour. Yeah, the 01 or 2300. Sorry, 01. What I was it's the 2300, which is no 2300 is um 11 o'clock on 20, yeah, the uh 01019, I forget how was it, military time. I just forgot all about it. I did study it. But anyway, Auntie asked Whitehurst where the kids were staying because he knew Tyler would be Chucky's target. So he tells them, and trying to do that, Shelton just pops in front of him, punches him. Tyler hits him. Andy hits him back, and then he goes back to the group. He had no choice, so he just he had no choice. It was up to actually Tyler to take care of himself now. Meanwhile, Chuck is looking for Tyler, goes to the room where he is, sees a letter. Tyler thinks it's a big game, but Chucky is not playing. Actually, he's after him. He manages to find Tyler, and just in the nick of time, the Silva, the one girl that Andy met and fell in love with, um, sadly enough, uh, things went sour. Um, shows up at the office with her friend. They were trying to look on Andy's files because she was wondering what kind of person Andy was and why it was all this whole thing uh bothering him. So they find Tyler with Chucky and this and that. She puts lipstick on his mouth, and then they hear steps. So that was the general going to the office, and so they leave. And as soon as it's they left, Chucky goes like, "Yeah, this means war." So he wipes up or try to wipe out the lipstick away, but nothing happens. So the general walks into the office, and Chucky pops out with the knife. And I mean, this is hilarious. Not hilarious, but he sees Chucky with the knife. He starts having a heart attack, and Chucky's like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me! I didn't even touch him." So he just sees the guy having a heart attack and falling down, uh, falling down. Then everybody's there. They try to figure out what happened. Following day, it's the war games, the annual war games. Chuck, Tyler tries to talk to, I mean, but Andy tries to talk to Tyler once again about Chucky being not being what he thinks he is. But Tyler doesn't want to believe him. So, just for safekeeping, Andy gives him the knife. And that pocket knife that Andy gave him, actually, Tyler actually gave that knife to Andy. There's a deleted scene, because you can see the deleted scenes anyway on YouTube. There's a deleted scene when where they're on the bus, they're talking, and Tyler gives Andy the exact pocket knife. So now Andy gives Tyler back the pocket knife and told him just keep it for safety. So the whole war games begin, but before that happens, Whitehurst had to go to get his haircut because he was assigned on that particular day, and everything goes well until he goes back, and that's where the sergeant got made his end. Um, Whitehurst Whitehurst goes back, sees Chucky, and he just goes like, "Poof," and he runs away. Going back to the line, Andy knows that he saw Chucky, but he didn't want to tell him because he was afraid. So he tries to deny it at the point. He asks Whitehurst if he saw something, and he kept on denying it. And they told him, "Hey, he's in trouble. He's a dead dog. If you don't tell me what happened." So he just didn't want to say nothing because he was too scared. So while at camp, away from the base, or I mean the school, they do some they have some time to have whatever they want to do before the Great War, the war games really begin. Tyler convinced of um, of his of he was convinced that uh, Andy was convinced that Chucky had his next move already. So he stole the reconnaissance map, pointing where the opposite squad would be or group would be, the other team. And he went to look for Tyler. Luckily, he wasn't spot because, well, you'll see what happens. So Tyler finally realized is that Chucky wasn't what he was making him believe. So he tries to have Andy saving him, but it went out of hand. At this point, Shelton was like beyond. Yeah, he was just up onto Andy because of the fact he stole a reconnaissance map, and then he wouldn't believe him even if he tried to explain the whole situation. Um, had sent Giselba and one other member of his group to different flanks to look for look for any spice, anything that would be uh like if something would or somebody would be spying or something like that. So finally, they found Andy. And he had the radio. Chucky calls in. Shelton answers the radio, and he wasn't convinced. One of the guys said, even one of the guys said it was one of the Reds trying to play a prank or something. And that was after they got Andy and they got Tyler, and the whole Shelton threw out the whole joke about, oh, we got now a POW, which is prisoner of war. Um, he's with Andy, and they're trying to let them know that hey, this guy's really not. This guy is dangerous. You guys don't want to mess with him. So after um, the conversation between Andy and Chucky had ended, contacts the red team and tells them, "Hey, red team, there's something funny going by the old jeep. Advice to move in." So they took his word and everybody moved in. Andy knew where Chucky was because he told them, "Hey, just meet me at the jeep. We'll exchange people." So they get there. Then the Reds start. They go in and then Shelton is surprised because he's Chucky, and well, he's his Chucky, and he's like, yeah, what's going on here? This is Chucky all geared up with. Because like, oh, f me, and then the red team shows up, firing at everybody. Shelton got shot with a live bullet. Then one of the, I think Mayor Rollins, which was one of his friends and part of the red team, told them to stop because they were using live rounds. Um, but he just, everybody stops, and the funny thing is they have to do that trade-off. So they do that trade-off, then they're arguing because at this point the other guy wanted to beat the living heck out of Andy. because of shot and being shot. I thought Andy was the one responsible of doing that. So Chucky just told Tyler, "Hey, now you'll see the fireworks um, fly," and he threw a grenade. Nobody knew what was going on. If it wasn't for Whitehurst, who jumped on top of the grenade, everybody would have been then gone. Talking about going down on the blaze of glory. So Whitehurst was the victim of that. Tyler runs uh, into a carnival or whatever it is called, into a fairground that they had outside the city limits, just out somewhere there. And Eric runs into the security guard officer, introduces himself, and a guy from Kent. The security guard tells them that Charles didn't mean to do whatever he said he was doing. He knows he's fully sorry, this and that. And tells Andy, well, I mean, tells Tyler, "Hey, I know what could cheer you up." So he pulls Chucky out, and that was it for the security guard. Because as soon as Andy Silva uh, noticed what happened, and everybody was busy with the other two, and then De Silva decided to go down to the carnival, look for Tyler because he knew they were there. They see Tyler running but before that, they go to the security tent, see the guard down. De Silva gets his gun because she knew they're gonna need it. So they see Andy running to a particular ride, which is a roller coaster. It's a haunted house. Things happen there. Chucky gets his face sliced, and Tyler tries to run away. He jumps on top of the one pound per thing. Chucky's grabbing the legs, and he lets go. And that's after the Silva got shot on the leg. So now Andy has to climb the big old Skull Mountain. Why Skull Mountain? Because the mountain was made of skulls. So yeah, I call it Skull Mountain. Gets there, talks to Tyler. Then Chucky knocks both of he does shoot or tries to shoot Chucky before this. He tried to while he was doing his chant, he tries to hit him. Didn't hit him at first, so he hits him on the arm, left arm. I think close up his left arm. Then he keeps on going, shoots him again, knocks Chucky down, and he goes up and talks to Tyler. Chucky knocks them both down. Well, Chucky's getting a hold of Andy. Tyler's hanging for his life, so he hands the knife back to Andy, and He chops his hand, and he manages to throw Chucky. Chucky lands on the fan, blows up everything. Yeah, everything he blows up. All the pieces landed everywhere. The fairgrounds are closed, and that was the end of Child's Play 3. Then, for some reason, the name changed. And the reason why is because, well, I guess it could have continued like being Child's Play, but then there were two reasons. One had to do with the fact that there was a dis. Well, I'm gonna get into that later on when I start talking about the show. But uh, there was a dispute between two well-known companies for the movie rights, and Don Mancini, he was the creator, but not he was at that time he was just the writer, and Chucky was his creation. But he started directing, I think uh, he started directing, I think uh, 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 from I don't know. I want to say Curse of Chucky, but I can remember if it was that point where Don Mancini started to direct the whole Chucky thing. But anyway, so we go to Bride of Chucky. Oh, Chucky got lucky. That's one way to put it. The whole idea about chasing Andy Barkley just left Chucky's mind at this point because one of the things was that all his body was like, yeah, just like a puzzle. So the movie opens where one of the police officers go into the um, evidence room and gets Chucky. Guys, that that's that is um that is uh not spo- uh not spoilers. That's I keep forgetting these references, but you could see that they had, well, it was a place full of unsolved unsolved mysteries, and they got every single evidence from murders that were not resolved. So you could see Michael Myers' mask, you could see Freddy's gloves, you could see Jason's mask, and Chucky, of course. He gets taken, and this cop is contacted by uh, ugh, I know Jennifer too replaced herself at this point, but she went back. Tiffany, Chucky's psychotic ex, you name it. So she gets Chucky, and gets the guy's lighter, and then she tries to put Chucky together because she believed that there could have been something going on. But to say the truth, things weren't, were not good. I mean, she had to do all sorts of things. She actually had a friend or a guy who was, um, I'm not, okay, so this guy was a geek. He was a geek, believe it or not. Guys, I'm not putting down anybody, but the guy that she was a geek. But he did this transformation where he turned into a god. Anyway, he had been chasing uh, Tiffany for a long time and actually tried to, um, say, be her boyfriend without any success. He tried to prove that he had with somebody, but it backfired on him because he showed Tiffany the pictures, but the only thing that gave him away was that he 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 forgot about his black nails. So hey, the cat was out of the bag. He lied. And comes Chucky. She tried to revive him at first, but nothing happened. So uh, he did revive. Got rid of him actually for her. Then Chucky tried to do all sorts of things. They tried to get out talking sober. Things didn't go as expected. So, um, Chucky makes fun of her because he did left a wedding ring, I think, that belonged to another person, and he goes like, "Oh, I still have the ring you left behind for me." And he starts laughing, and he's like, "That old thing that belonged to some this one lady." Anyway, so she knew that he didn't. He was on the plan of actually being a husband. They just laughed at the idea, so things were bad. As bad as in novel was, she made fun of him by getting him a doll, a bride doll. And well, Chucky, being smart as he was, he used the knife, the ring from the doll had on her neck to escape the wooden cage that he was on by trying to by then pushing the TV on the bathtub to get rid of Jennifer. His plan did not backfire. At first, he thought his plan would backfire. Why he thought his plan backfired was because of the fact that just like Jennifer, he couldn't bring her back to life. So he had the same reaction as Jennifer, where he goes like, "Oh, what a crap." So then Jennifer pops out with her body popped out of the tub, and then she's suddenly she wakes up as the doll, and they she gets in a fight. And as much as I hate to say it, guys, this movie right now, Chucky went like so. The approach was maybe put some comedy onto it just to see how it works. So anyway, things go out of hand. Yeah, that thing was to have them delivered to the cemetery where his body was uh, where Chucky's body was um, buried, so he could reconnect with himself again. Oh man, they still a camper. They survived the worst things until the part where once again Chucky gets shot. He tells the girl, you know what? Just shoot me. I'll come back again. But man, life is a real, you know. So he gets shot again. Their names, because they got married. The one girl and the guy that was supposed to deliver the dolls, which was a neighbor of Tiffany. Um, they got cleared from all charges, and at the end, you see that Tiffany was having a baby, and she did, which was weird because she got burnt to a crisp uh, because she was thrown into the oven. But the baby attacks the cup, and that's the end of Bride of Chucky. Moving on to Seed of Chucky. My God, I just can't say enough about this. I mean, right now it's like somebody cracked. I know they tried to go for the comical approach, but it didn't work. I mean, a lot of Chucky fans really were at this point. They were like, uh, no, enough is enough. I mean, because the story sits on now England. Uh, it opens by Chucky's son having the weirdest scream. He's given as a birthday present to a girl, a rich girl. That was in London. And well, I'm not gonna go into that aspect, but he's given to a rich girl for a birthday. The parents thought it was a family joke. The first one who actually goes away is the dad, and the mom was waiting for the dad because she was taking a shower. And well, anyway, he gets the knife. The girl's mom kicks it away. He tries to pick the knife up, but she slits on the on the tub, and that causes her to actually land out and break her neck. So now he tries to get the girl, and what happens then is that he sees her because she wasn't in bed. She's a man says, "Hey, you killed my parents. Now you're pissing in your pants." And he keeps on hearing her saying that. And then when he wakes up, he sees the guy Sykes, who was the guy who found them. I don't know how he found them and how on earth he was found in London, nonetheless, in England. Not in London, somewhere in England, not London. I made a mistake, but anyway, it's like, wake up, you're peeing your pants. So again, he goes up to perform. He's given the worst name a person could think of. Uh, I know I'm crossing the lines here, so might as well. So the guy gave him the name Shitface, and that name gets stuck to him for a long time. And he just wanted to know who his parents were. He manages, I mean, during that one act, afterwards, a rat helps him. So he manages to leave, makes the long journey to America because he found out that his parents, I mean Chucky and Tiffany, uh, were uh, were in Hollywood, and he had no idea about his parents. All he knew was that his parents were alive and they were um, movie stars. So he does a long journey, gets released in Hollywood. Things go wrong. He does what Chucky couldn't do in one shot. I mean, he does that. He he gets the heart of the Bella, which was the amulet that Chucky was supposed to retrieve in the previous movie, and he couldn't do it. So he was wondering what the words were. So he kind of remembered the chant, but they didn't do the whole sequence until later on. So all he had to do was say these words: "Adui Timbala, awake!" And next thing you know, both Chucky and Jennifer woke up. Like, I mean, they woke up. So they're having all this discussion. Chuck is saying it's like um, Chucky makes a crack about him about his parents, and he somehow he goes. He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And he's like, "I'm Shitface." And Jennifer's like, "What kind of a person would name a kid like that?" And Chuck is like, "Well, somebody from it wonders who their parents be." And then he sees that engravement made in Japan on his armor, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he turns to Jennifer and he's like, did we? And she's like, oh my sweet face, and it's like, I think Chucky fainting when actually, okay, here's the logic. You don't see that guy fainting when there's a baby or something happens like that. It's the other way around. So, I'm not being. Uh, I'm just giving a logic here. Usually, the woman faints, not if it's gonna be a kid, and for some reason, I'm not saying it's just if something happens, the woman faints, not the guy. But I'm not kidding you. It wasn't Jennifer. It was Chucky. Chucky fainting, guys. Chucky fainting when he realized he had a kid. Yeah, that's a good one for me. So, mm, moving on. Uh, there was this whole crack about him being a girl or a boy. They were arguing. Well, Jennifer thinks it was a girl, and he was falling for it. The kid was falling for it. But then Chucky goes, no, he's a boy. He's just taking time to bloom. So there's these little things going on where they're having that conversation and that argument where that he's a boy, he's a girl, no, he's a boy, he's a girl. To the point where uh, there was the situation where Jennifer Tilly herself, is Jennifer and and Jennifer and Tilly, uh, Jennifer Tilly. Uh, Now I lost track. Oh, anyway, she plays herself. She plays herself. So she's trying to get a role, and because she didn't like, uh, she was upset. First of all, because of oh man, I forgot who took this role, and she's like, nah, she couldn't be that. So she had asked her friend, well, what about what's next? And that was the famous rapper producer Redman was casting a female to play uh, the Virgin Mary, and she just that and she's like Jennifer's like, oh, I played that role. So, oh yeah, the whole argument is because of that one actress supposedly sleeping with the director to get the role, got the role because of that. And she apparently tried to do the same thing with Redman, and it didn't do good. Turkey has picked on to be his buddy. Well, um, Jennifer, what's I mean for, I mean Jennifer, yeah. Jennifer, she was saving for herself. And as for the kid, he developed a multi personality. Oh God, that is what really cracked everything. I mean, all sorts of things happen up to the point where Chucky had to actually get the driver, Jennifer Tilly's driver, to be his buddy and put them together and perform the whole ritual again. Oh yeah, by the way, what happened about the kid and yeah, they did voodoo. I'm not gonna go there. I've been actually crossing lines. So uh, the fact was that Jennifer did have two kids at the end. She had two kids at the end. Um, one girl and a little boy, and he had to decide. Both the destiny of both the driver and Jennifer Tilly were taken. Now the kid had to decide whether he wanted to be either the girl or the son. And things get even worse when the police arrived. So Jennifer's taken to the hospital at that point. I forgot all the things that happened there. She's at the hospital, and the kid, and then her pint-sized doll. I mean, that doll, Tiffany. Sorry, yeah, Tiffany. They, she kind of drugged her because she wanted to be Jennifer Tilly, and she does get away with it. Actually, it's weird because at the end, finally, Chucky pops in. And he's like, and the door has like, I have nothing to say. Like he was like, I have really nothing to say. So there we go. So he just because she manages to transfer her soul to Jennifer Tilly. So on the final words, she goes, uh, "Don't make the same mistakes your dad did." So there's a fight between Chucky and the kid, which I admit, lame but hilarious. And why I say lame but hilarious is because they do this whole karate thing, and it's just like you've seen a karate flick. But uh, anyway, he gets rid of Chucky, and years later, finally, getting first back to normal. Things get back to normal. The babies are fine. So now that years later, the son is having a birthday. His his birthday, And he realized he's not alone. Yeah, he had his differences with his dad. He still loved them regardless of what. Um, Jennifer, I mean, their 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 um, maid has told Jennifer that their daughter, her daughter's doing bad things like stealing money, and that one time she actually got on a fight with this kid and made his nose bleed in school and everything. And she's like, oh, you know what, Fabio, I really don't want to hear this because it's not like that. And she saw her by the window. Believe me, I think the daughter did take Chucky's side. Believe me, she looked really creepy. I'm gonna tell you, she looked creepy. So she's like, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to leave. I cannot be here anymore. So Jennifer was like, fine. And next thing, she hits her with the doll. Or does it There's two things that happen here. Here's the thing. I get on the unrated version. You have that part where she hits her and she's trying, Jennifer's trying to wipe out the blood and tosses the body onto a closet and then moves into the whole out garden thing where she's talking to the kids and has Tiffany doll, or that part on the rated version. So I mean, or theatrical, like they say. So there was two versions, just a little Adam. But so the kids, when it's like, yes, not long. I know, I me and my dad, we've had several differences, but I still love him. So he gets one present which had a card, but there was no name on it. So at this point, he just opens the present and goes Chucky's arm, gets him, and that's the end of Set of Chucky. That makes five movies, right? So now we go on to the sixth movie, which is, oh man, which is ooh, Curse of Chucky. Now, what can I say about Curse of Chucky? First of all, it starts Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. Um, some other guys, I forgot the other guys, and of course, guest star Nick as Nika. It was Brad's daughter. Man, what's her name? Um, hmm, Fiona Doris. So now, this was actually was going to be the remake of the original Chucky. The intent was go back into its original roots, which was a sci-fi horror film. So you have Nika, I mean Fiona playing as Nika. She can move. She's on a wheelchair. This and that. Um, her mom gets killed by Chucky. Then her niece goes and visits her, um, because of the whole thing. Her family actually goes to stay with her, but her sister, she had already plans. I mean, She had plans for everything. First of all, she wanted to put Nico in a home where she could be taken care of because she thought she wouldn't be able to manage the house. And then she wanted to sell the house, which was Nika's and her mom's. But part of it was also Barbara's or Barbie's, which is Nika's the sister. So she was already making plans. Then she invites a preacher or a priest, Father. What's his name? And they have dinner that day. Later on, when they had found Chucky. Later on at night, they see a movie, an old-fashioned movie, and Chucky finds himself missing, and the little girl is looking for him. And she knows he's hiding, and there goes this whole thing about looking for him. And there's other stuff that happens up to the point where more random mur- murders happen now in the house. That dad was the final survivor because, okay, the mom first dies because he is trying to look for the little girl because she went up to the basement wherein she hasn't or supposed to. Then the grandma was the first victim, Nika's mom. The third victim was the babysitter. She got electrocuted. I'm talking about having shock therapy, and I mean real shock therapy. There. Then it was that. Well, he he knew Nika's condition and what he had to do, but he didn't do that. So Nika passed out, and she warned him about Chucky. So it goes back and on the mom's computer, on Barbie's computer, he saw all of that because he had he had the camera on Chucky, but there was a dispute. Nika knew something, and it was the total opposite of what Barbara knew or Barbie, and she thought they were talking about the same thing when she died. So I mean, anyway, the dad just checks the camera, tries to figure out where their daughter is hiding, and suddenly he goes onto live camera and sees that something's moving in the same room, and Nika just is Chucky on the side, looks at her, and continues walking to him, towards him. By then, we're getting axed, and I mean, ouch. So then Chucky pushes Nika through the stairs. She falls. He thought she was going to die because of falling down the second floor, but luckily enough, it didn't happen. Chucky reveals to Nika that he actually, all the stuff that happened from her, her dad's death was because of him, because her dad was actually Chucky's friend, but it was a friend from New Jersey and this and that. They saw that on a video. So Chuck is explaining to Nico that what happens from that point, and he also mentioned, "Hey, I like a family with kids. What you expect?" So what happened between him and the mom? What happened with the dad? And then she goes on like, you know what? You just remind me of Andy Barkley. How of a pro he was, and this and that. And it goes on to, I actually killed his childhood. And Nika goes, so you've been waiting 25, because he did mention he waited, all those killings from if you go back into the movies, because he mentioned the Barclays, which meant, uh, he didn't kill the Barclays. What he meant by that was that he killed Andy's childhood. The Kincaid's, that refers to, that that refers to actually, Bride of Chucky, the uncle of the girl. The Tillies, which basically meant Jennifer Tilly, and I don't know how many families, which made 25 years, and he goes, well, it was worth it, and Nika turns to him and says, well, so the longest kill was 25 years, this and that. And what you expected, a sign from God or something? So she manages to run into the elevator and lock herself. Chucky gets there. Now the detective that was on the case, or the police officer that was on the case because of, the death of the father, the priest, um, he knew that probably Nick or her family had answers to that. So he goes back, and and he finds Nika covered with blood and screaming. And next thing, she's gone to court, and there's all the evidence: the knife, the axe, Chucky, and the rat poison. They found her guilty of all the killings. Then she is taken away, and it was Chucky that just go that, this and that, just laughing. So she's put into an institute. And once again, there was a repeat of Bride of Chucky. I'm not kidding you. The cop takes Chucky's, the body, the bag with Chucky's body, or with Chucky, actually, with Chucky. No, he takes Chucky on the bag, and he's running this and that. And again, he's been out on the parking lot. The whole yeah the whole thing where he asks for his money happens, and then Jumps up goes Tiffany again with her little neck thing. So there was a that was a repeat of Pride of Chucky. So at this point, no, there was no mentioning of what was going to happen. Uh, I guess Chucky has been silenced for quite a while until um, Cult of Chucky, which was supposedly to be the final movie. Once again, Nika is at this hospital, and she's been transferred because of her behavior. She had more liberties, although still there was some restrictions applied. Crazy stuff happens. Chucky just it's insane. There's like I don't know how many Chuckies are involved on this one. I forget. There's like at least Andy Barclays, the one that was there, the one that the no, the one that the doctor had, Andy Barclays, the one that Jennifer Tillis sent, and Andy's. So four Chuckies, I think. No, three, three Chuckies. Three Chuckies because it's the one that gets his hand burned, the one that got his hand cut off and put a drill on, the and then the short haired guy. Oh man, the short haired Chucky. That was a yeah funny one. It's so funny because all three had to do something. So the first one, so Nika tries to kill herself because Chucky wouldn't get to her like he did with the other people. But that wasn't his plan. His plan was a different plan. So when the doctor have her again in his office, she's well she's tied up and she tries to let him know that Chuck is gonna kill him, but again he didn't believe her because the first time Chucky just hits him on the head and thought that Nika did it. Chucky said, "Hey, I'm dating him." And the word, and he feel like word or sick. I forgot what he said. But there's one part where he goes like, "Should I take notes or just, you know?" Anyway, Nika tries to warn him, and he didn't listen. That one bad. So finally, yeah, it was for Chucky's actually. Four of them. Now I remember. The original, no, there's five Chuckies. The original head, which is in Auntie's cabin. But anyway, what happened? One of them finally got away with it. Did the whole body change and transfer his soul into Nika. Well, the other one just man. but before that's funny because they were talking about how they got this one guy. Oh, did you see when he was burning when his guts went out? Or oh, did you see him when how he felt when I was throwing him and this and that? And then they're talking about Andy being there, so they got uh like okay, the main one took over Nika. So the other ones, one goes like, okay, so who's gonna take over Andy? It was backwards. It was before. No, it was before he took over Nika. Like, okay, I'm taking over Andy. You guys stay put. And the other guy's like, oh, wait, look what happened to my hands. And the other one's like, well, look at me. Yeah, but you got to, well, you did something. So, yeah. And then the short hair's like, oh, look at me. And he's like, oh, shit, you go ahead, knock yourself out. So, yeah, he was the short guy who went to go actually get rid of Andy. But see, Andy was smart. He sent him with a purpose. He had a gun in his butt. So Andy would be ready to just get rid of Chucky, but his plans backfired because he got trapped. Nika got possessed by Charles Leray. So she went by Charles Leray. It was kind of an awkward moment because once again, Jennifer Tilly. That's her. And so they leave. She once again she does her throat slash with another cup again. Then they leave, and while they're in the car, Nika, I mean Chucky, because he took over Nika, asks her, well, now what's gonna happen with the daughter or the because like oh I feel sorry about her because she was so good and she almost died and she's like yeah we're here now and then they took off they started laughing. That was the end of it. However, and this was a shock to me. I don't know if it was a shock to you guys, but years had passed and this was under the leadership of uh, I know I named the direct. He became director. Um, Mancini. Mancini himself talked about the latest project. Or he did talk about it. Um, it took a while because he had it coming, but the thing is, when he had the name for the project was going to be Child's Play, then he had to scrap it off because he didn't want to have nothing to do with the because of the whole rights discussion. So the show was supposed to be Child's Play, the TV series. Mancini didn't want that because of the whole first movie being disputed as a legal rights. So then he went with Chucky, the TV series. So it took a while, but I mean, it was worth it. And what comes to, it was a shocker for me. I don't know about you guys. I mean, in a sense, it was a shocker because the first episode that was aired was actually, it takes you back. Um, well, throughout the show, through the first episode, you're exploring the origins of Charles Lee Ray, what led him to become Chucky. So it goes back from the future back to the past, and you see little you in some episodes you see some flashbacks of him as a kid. Oh my god, it's crazy. It's totally insane. There's no words to describe the TV show. First episode, um, you get to see some of Charles Lee Ray as a kid. There's the Halloween episode, which is kind of crazy because, uh, guys, again, spoiler alert. The Halloween episode's crazy because as a kid, when he went trick or treating and he got his candy, he had an apple, and the apple had a razor blade, and he ate the apple along with the razor blade. So he does that to an old lady, to a lady, and he's dressed up as a Hello Kitty, if I'm not mistaken. That's on the Halloween episode. But there's more. Now, guys, I'm gonna make something clear because this go and I forgot to mention this, but there's been a lot of a lot of things regarding to genders and transgenders and all that. That there's been discussions about and critics and that deals with. You know what, guys? That's that's not cool. I mean, we are what we are. I mean, we can not. I mean, one of the things I'm not gonna tolerate on my channel is people bullying or talking about certain issues, especially when it comes to sexual orientation. I'm not allowed in bad talk, so that's why I took a pause to let you guys know that. And because of the next thing I'm gonna say, which deals with that on the level of the Chucky show TV series, because yes, the main character is gay, and there's another character who's also gay, and there's a bunch of going on, guys. That uh, I mean, just the advice. I'm letting you know right now. I won't tolerate people bully. Period. So moving on, throughout the show, one person comes back. Actually, two people come back. That's Andy Barkley. Yes, Andy Barkley is back. And I mean, seeing Alex Vincent again after a long time. The last time, the last time you've seen Alex Vincent was probably in uh, yeah, Cult of Chucky. That's the last time you see Alex Vincent. But you get to see him later on. You get to actually see him in at some point either on the first season of Chucky the TV series. And guess who else is back? Kyle, who was played by Christine Elise. She's also back, and she teams up with Andy because they found out that Chucky was still around and he had a new target. So you don't know what happened really after the second season because on the second season it looks like yes, and he does wanna at some point he does wanna get rid of Kyle because he doesn't want her involved because of all that stuff they've been through when they were young. Um, but he actually they do a couple episodes together, and one of the episodes that I mean right now it's a cliffhanger because and this was to my surprise. When I was little, I talked to my grandpa and I talked to my grandpa and I told him, hey, uh, we talked about Chucky. I don't know why that topic came out when I was little and I talked with my grandpa and we both had the idea that Chucky would actually. The only reason why he kept on coming back is because there was a whole army of Chuckies. That was our conclusion. We had no idea that somebody kept on reviving him. But I looked at the end um, of second season, and yes, there was a whole army of Chuckies. 75 Chuckies were going to be delivered to kids. So, in a sense, me and my grandpa, we were accurate about the Chucky army. Coming from the Playboy factory, not that accurate. It, God, we don't even know where they come from, but we came up with that conclusion. And I looked at that last thing, at that last episode. Wait, no, that was the end. That was the end of season one. I'm sorry, where he actually uh, basically no, that was season. they were sent. The kids were sent to the school where Chucky was, or or rather say Charles Lee Ray went to, and no, sorry, it wasn't the end of season two. I mean, it was at the beginning where the delivery truck was on its way, but Andy just tried to stop them from actually getting to their destination. So the whole truck falls on a cliff along with Andy, and everybody thought Andy was dead. But anyway, it's just getting up to a point where I don't know for sure what's going to happen, but I'm under the suspicion that it's going to be more intense. From what I saw, though, Kyle and Andy left the picture, so we don't know. We don't know if if we'll see Alex Vincent and Christina Elise because um, they thought it was over, but the way it ended, again, it's a cliffhanger. And believe me, I'm not one to support cliffhangers. I mean, I've been through a lot of cliffhangers, and believe me, that just drives me crazy. It could drive anybody crazy because you want to know, okay, what this is what's going to happen next thing you know. Oh, stay tuned. But anyway, um, it's just nice seeing the old familiar faces and hearing, because I mean, man, Christine Ellis, Alex Vincent, um, I just mentioned her. Um, Jennifer Tilly. Um, she does show up. She did show up on the series. Um, Fiona Doris plus Brad. Man, it's like I'm gonna get off topic right now just for one last thing before I sign up. But it's just like the Cobra Kai. I'll talk about that next on my next um I'll talk about that next thing. But yes, um there's one more season going on, and that's gonna be it. You you see some old faces. You'll remember these actors. Believe me, that was the case with Chucky. So guys, next time it'll be Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. Till then, take care, be safe, and till next time, peace out.